Hello, welcome to Knit the Books. Happy 2017, everybody.
I know.
My name's Allie.
And I'm Vicki. And this is Murray. He's just halfway, a little bit in there, but Murray's up here visiting.
So he might pop in every now and then. You'll probably hear his breathing and other noises that pugs tend to make.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Yes.
This is Knit the Books. I don't know what episode number we are. I forgot to check, but yeah. First episode of 2017. Murray almost fell down. Sorry about that.
So yeah, I almost fell out of the chair. I hope everyone's had a good start to the new year. It's hard to believe that, is it tomorrow that the January is going to be right at halfway over already?
Yes, today's the 14th. It's Saturday, and it is 70-something degrees.
Yes.
Just going to throw that out here.
Warm in Tennessee.
In Middle Tennessee, so
crazy. Kind of heard we're going to have a mild winter, so. Or winter may not show up to February. It does that a lot anymore.
We get that a lot. Mm-hmm. So, Mom, you been finishing anything?
I finished a pair of socks, but I forgot to bring them with me. I have just come from getting the roots touched up and a little bit of a haircut.
Mom got her hair done, so she's looking nice and fierce.
Forgot to go upstairs and get them when I was packing up to leave the house.
Right. So we'll show them next time.
We can show them next time. So what have you finished?
I have one finished object. I finished Max's
so pretty
sockhead hat, which he loves. I knit this out of Two Guys Yarn Company in the Muddy Waters colorway. It's their Tweety Toes, which is my new favorite base, and I want to knit myself one.
I love it.
So you don't have any finished, but did you bring any current projects?
I did bring current projects. I think I'm going to talk about my Calmy. It's in my cute little bag from Knit Spin Farm. Isn't that cute?
It's got little deer.
It's got little deer and stuff on
trees. And a little rabbit. That's cute.
I thought it was cute. Here's how far I've got so far.
Nice.
I kind of by accident added an extra row, so it's making it bigger, but I actually really like it.
And what yarn is that? Because you haven't talked about this on the podcast,
I don't think I have. The yarn is from Barrett Wool Company, and I really like it. The color, it's a fingering weight, and the colorway is red flannel. The tag is... I
tagged Mom in that, or showed it to her or something, so I was like, this is the perfect red for Mom.
It's 100% American wool. Fingering weight. It's coming along rather nicely. I think I only have one more section of this section and one more of the knitted section before I join it in the round.
And what's the
stitch That's marker? From Whimsy Stitches. Isn't that the cutest thing?
That is so cute.
Isn't that the cutest thing? So what have you got going?
Well, one thing I've been working on in my Whimsy Stitches Rainbow 360 vinyl bag is that fluid sock head beanie. And I know I've talked about it on the podcast. I don't remember. I think I had done the rolled brim last time. But I'm almost at decreases.
Oh, that's so pretty.
This is the Fluid Sock Head Beanie by Karen McCall. Yarn is Gnome Acres in the Donatello colorway.
Yes, that's what I was trying to think of.
And it's pulled very cool.
It really has. It's very pretty.
That's one side. And then it goes around. This has been very fun to knit. Like I said, it shouldn't take me long to finish it. I just haven't really felt like knitting much.
You've not been in the fibery mood?
Not in a knitting mood. That'll be done soon.
That's good.
Next time we see you guys.
Yes, I hope to have a couple of things done next time. Okay, and the next project I have is a cow, and it is housed in a fat squirrel bag. So cute. Such a cute bag.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. And the pattern it's wind chill.
That is pretty, Mama.
Isn't that pretty? It's the yarn is the pattern is wind chill, and it's by Melanie Gibbons, and the yarn is from Marigold Jen. It's her bulky 3-ply 100% merino wool in the Stranger Things colorway.
Very nice.
I love it.
That's gonna look really nice on you.
Thank you. So what else have you got going on, girl?
In my Whimsy Stitches bag,
I forgot to bring my sock.
I have my Christmas Eve cast on.
Oh, cute.
I'm knitting a toe-up sock using I don't remember what the pattern is, but it's a slip stitch where you slip stitches at every color change.
Oh, fun.
And this is my little stitch marker. I ordered these off Etsy, a peach cupcake.
Mm-hmm. I forgot what mine is.
Lime?
Lime, maybe.
Maybe.
I can't remember. I'll have it next time.
Lemon. So fun. Yarn is from Rock and String Creations. This is the Reindeer Games colorway that was made specifically to match this bag.
And they did such a good job
They
on matching
did.
their colors.
I love this. I'm not usually a kit person, but I had to have this one. And this is what it looks like in a skein.
Very nice.
So I haven't. She offers with her self-striping now where you can get matchy-matchy sets. 2 separate skeins, 230 yards each. That way your socks can start on the same color if you so want it to be. I don't usually care. Sometimes I care though. So
Yeah. I think that's pretty cool, her doing it that way.
Do you have any more?
I do. I have one more. And it is in the cutest bag. It's Thank You for Being My Friend. And it's from Utterly Adorable Knits. And I didn't have my glasses on when I was doing my show notes, so we're going to have to get her card out. Her name is Jennifer, and it's that Fran, Frane.
Might be Fran.
I saw this on, I can't remember whether I saw it on Instagram or on Facebook, which probably fed from Instagram. But it's got the cutest little pull with it. And on the back of it, it describes how to do the Kitchener stitch. I thought that was the neatest little thing to add to it. That's the one thing I always forget. I always have to go back to my notes on
I love
Kitchener
that. That's really clever.
But what this is a baby hat, which we will talk more about what this... Go ahead now? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me talk about my yarn and my hat first, my pattern, and then I'll describe the project. Mm-hmm. This is for... it's a Little Hats, Big Hearts project. It's where the... what's the group here? Little Mended?
Yeah, it's Little Mended Hearts of the Upper Cumberland.
Of the Upper Cumberland have requested 110 baby hats be made. It's go along with they're partnering with the American Heart Association for the Little Hats Big Heads project. The goal is to raise awareness for heart disease, which is the #1 killer of Americans, and congenital heart defects is the most common type of birth defect in the U.S. All babies born at the Cookeville Regional Hospital in the month of February will go home with a red hat. They have asked for 110 and they'll be accepting them through January the 28th. They've asked knitters or crocheters if they want to make a hat. They would be greatly appreciated. They just recommend a simple hat pattern and yarn to be red cotton or acrylic medium to heavy weight, which is machine washable and dryable. Mm-hmm. And I chose a pattern for mine, which is it's a basic baby hat. It's found on stitcheryprojects.com. And my yarn is Karen Simply Soft. I thought that's a pretty neat little project. I used to go to church with a girl when we lived closer to Nashville that is not nurse practitioner. There's one up from nurse practitioner. Anyway, she works at Vanderbilt and for a heart doctor that does heart transplants for children. And they don't take a lot of patients a year because once they get a patient, they have that patient till they're 18 years old. So, but it's a pretty cool job. She loves her job. So I thought of her when that project started.
I'm knitting one too. And mine's in my another Whimsy Stitches bag that Mom got me for Christmas. Little sock monkeys.
I know, I got one too. I think they're so cute.
And mine, I just started mine. We found out about this program through my boss. Some of our kids in my program, use this organization. So this is mine. Like I said, just started it. I'm knitting. I'll get my tag out in a second. So just a little. I'm just doing another rolled brim hat.
I love that little pattern. That was so easy.
Mine is Classic Elite Yarns, Liberty Wool. Do you have any other current projects?
I don't. I'm done.
All right, I have one more in my Frida Kahlo bag that Daniela, Caffeinated Goat, made for me. I have my sweater. I haven't knit on it since before Christmas, but I've made progress, so I wanted to show you guys. I have...
Ooh, nice.
Oh, apparently I stopped in a row. That's good. Good job, Allie. Well, I have the back completely done. The 2 fronts are started and joined. I got confused. So I have my 2 fronts joined. And so I've just got to knit all the way down here and join it. And once I get it in the round, I think I will want to knit on it again. I just haven't really felt like knitting, so.
That's okay.
But seeing this again kind of makes me want to work on it. So I think
you might be.
I'm going to power through, finish Max's hat, and then maybe I can pick this back up again.
Mm-hmm.
I had all these plans because we had the week after Christmas off, and then I took another week off. I had all these knitting plans. Didn't happen. That's okay. One day that week after Christmas, Caffeinated Gert, Mom and I drove up to Crossville and went to the Yarn Patch, which is a local yarn store. And Danielle and I both got Cricut looms, and Mom got
I got the pot holder loom with the little loops to make pot holders.
Yeah.
And I meant to bring it to show it because it's so fun, but I haven't even started one yet because we went out of town for New Year's, and I meant to take it with me and didn't. So, and then back to work, and it's been hectic. So
I started a scarf using yarn because it comes with 2 balls of yarn. So I started a scarf with that, and I've been working on it a little bit, not a whole lot. I have it on the desk, or get myself into the habit of going over there more often and just weaving a little bit of each day. But I love it. I can't wait to do something else. I have yarn for placemats. I have yarn for, I don't even know. I bought a bunch of stuff the other day just to do some fun weaving.
that'll be fun.
But getting that and working on that made me want to get my pop out loom from Black
pretty.
Sheep Goods out again. So I had shown you guys this before, and I think I'm pretty sure I showed this to you. I think I'd had the fringe done, or maybe just that part done.
Maybe just this part. I don't remember
But I have the fringe, and I did it super long because I wasn't sure how long I wanted it to be. So I was like, I'd rather it be too long.
And then you can trim it,
yeah,
right?
I can trim it as much as I want. And then this is yarn that Daniela spun and gifted to me at Christmas. And I thought it would look super cool with this speckle.
It does.
And I really, really like it. I'm going to do something at the top with the speckle just to kind of make it sturdier. And then I need to get some more dowels, and then it'll be ready to hang up after I decide what I'm going to do with the fringe. I'm probably just going to cut it to about like right here.
Yeah, that'd be cute.
But yeah, so this one I'm super excited about. So it's my second thing I've woven with this now. I'm calling it done already, even though I still have a few steps left, but I'm calling it done, and I can't wait to hang it up.
It's very pretty.
I've been wanting to do something because I've been saving a bunch of stuff on Pinterest, and I've been wanting to do something where there's some parts that aren't woven, because I think that's super cool to have like that kind of blank space, and I kind of want to do more with that. So
Pretty
there's
cool.
that, and hopefully next time I'll have a finished scarf off the loom. All right, so hats for kiddos. We'll do that real quick. We started our... So sorry about the water. We started our mostly year-long knit-along for Hats for Kiddos.
Right.
There is a chatter thread and a finished object thread in the Ravelry group. So when you finish your hat, just post a picture, knit as many hats as you want, crochet as many hats as you want, sew as many hats as you want. Our January theme is something that represents you. Our examples have been favorite color, favorite pattern, favorite yarn, anything that you can think of. We will do a prize with the first episode in February, so I figured the next episode will give you guys February's prompt.
Yes.
So, have you finished any good books lately?
I have, actually. I have finally finished Voyager, for the 3rd book in the Outlander series, and I've taken a break. Because
From Outlander?
From Outlander. I love the series, but something is always happening. There's always some kind of drama, and this time they've been on the ship, and she's been in the water, but it's a very good series, so I have enjoyed it, and I'm just going to take a break and listen to a couple of other things, and then go back for the 4th one.
I can't blame you, though. Those books are long.
They are
It's
long.
not like you're listening to like an hour or, a couple of hour-long books. I mean, you're listening to
Hours.
like 20-plus hour-long books. I would be tired of these people, too. Like I said, I still haven't picked up the second one. I loved the first one, but... And there was part of me that wanted to start the second one right away, and then I didn't, and I just haven't picked it up. But I don't have a reason, I just haven't. Mm-hmm. And I think it's that length. I haven't felt like
long.
I haven't felt like committing to that long of a book recently. Yes. So, one of the books I finished reading Horror Store. This is a novel by Grady Hendrix. This is like a modern ghost story. It basically takes place in a little bit over a day. Most of it takes place in a little bit over a day. So it's an IKEA-like store, but it's not IKEA. It's called Orsk, but it's like the exact same concept. And we show up with Amy on her at the beginning of a work shift, and we kind of follow her throughout the day. And we learn that there's been some weird things happening, like at night, Like people would come in and
Like,
things would be moved or destroyed, and
it's like the store's got a ghost.
yeah. So the main part of the book is her manager and another coworker are going to stay the night and see what's happening because corporate's coming the next day. So it's really, really cool though, and it's funny because it's like a catalog.
I did not know it was a book when it was laying there.
I'm gonna show some parts, but like here is the showroom, and there's an ordering
fun
form, and in the back there's like coupons.
Oh, hilarious!
It's super funny. Here's the back, so it's scary. But I love it, and the cover is what drew me in because there's parts of it that's super funny. It is pretty creepy though. Like there's like a couple of times where I was kind of creeped out. So I gave it 4 out of 5 stars in Goodreads. I really liked it. Thought it was well written. The characters were good, and I really do like movies that are just like a day, like Dazed and Confused and things like that. And it was kind of cool to read a book that was basically the same thing, where it was mostly a day. There's a little bit more, but it's mostly just over the course of one day. It was kind of cool.
Cool.
Have you finished anything else?
I did. I finished Talking as Fast as I Can, From Gilmore Girls to Gilmore Girls and Everything in Between by Lauren Graham, and it was read by her. And I loved it. In fact, I loved it enough that I will probably listen to it again soon. This is the only time I have been disappointed, though, in having an audiobook, because she refers to photos that are in the hard copy that I can't see. But I talked to your sister, and she's got the book, so I'll be able to.
We also have a Books A Million, and you could just go and look.
I could just go look at the photos at Books. I think we have a knit day next week. I think that's what I'll do.
Just throw that out there. Yeah. I did that when I listened to Miss Peregrine's Home of Peculiar Children. The next time I went to Books A Million, I just went and looked at the pictures. Which they don't reference the pictures, but there are pictures in there. And you do kind of feel like you miss out. And Mom and I talked about this the other day, and when I got that from Audible, I was told that I should have received a PDF with the pictures, or I read that somewhere. I don't know if that's true or not, so I don't know if some of you more Audible savvy people might be able to let us know if that's a thing. If you get an audiobook, like you can get the pictures in a PDF. Or if it's just something where I felt like that's what should have happened, and that's why I'm remembering that, because it was like over a year ago. I think maybe it might have been 2 years ago now since I read that one, but yeah.
I was a little disappointed, but I loved it, and I will listen to it again. It's not a real long book.
Well, you weren't disappointed in the book.
Not in the book. I was just disappointed I couldn't see the photos and she was talking about them. Let me see how long it was, because it went fast. 4 hours and 35 minutes, so it's just not real long at all. But she talks about getting started. Some of it's about getting started. Some of it's about her growing up. Some of it's about the first Gilmore Girls. Some of it is the second section is on the new Gilmore Girls, and she actually says, if you're reading the book and you haven't, or listening and you haven't watched it yet, you may want to stop here, because she does talk about some things. But it was really good, and I love her anyway, so it was fun listening to her.
Well, good.
So that made this week's commute go by real fast, because I listened to it in just a couple or 3 days. So
cool.
So have you finished anything else?
Yes, I have quite a few finished, actually.
Oh, good for you.
I finished listening to Where Am I Now by Mara Wilson, which I think I talked about last time I was listening to it. That's by Mara Wilson, who is probably best known for starring in Matilda, or as Matilda in Matilda. That one was really, really good. Her voice is really good for audiobooks, and it was about her life and how she left the acting world and what she's doing now. Very cool, very much liked it. We'll listen. I'd listen to it again. So I finished reading on my Kindle White Lead by Susan Deitch. We follow Stella, who's an art conservator, and she was working on this very big piece at night one night, and she hears a noise. She leaves her office, and when she comes back, there's a dead body there. Oh, so creepy. It's like her trying to find out like what happened. Is she being framed? Oh, and the art piece was gone.
Okay.
So, of course, everyone thinks she did it or was involved in some way because,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems kind of obvious that she would be. I gave this book 2 stars. I had so many high hopes for it. I never wanted to read it. It was not written well. The concept's great. And I feel like if the book had been edited a couple more times or maybe toned down a little bit more, it would have been really good. It was like there were so many mini stories that I didn't feel like they really related to the main story. And half the characters I didn't care about. I didn't remember who they were. Like every time they popped up, I was like, "Who are you?
Why are you here?"
So many it just felt like there were so many throwaway characters, and I basically just had to make myself read it. The last few chapters were better, but the ending was very disappointing. So again, 2 out of 5 stars for that one. I also finished "Don't Tell Anyone" by Eleanor Gray. This one was also a 2 out of 5. The book starts at court for the murdered daughter's boyfriend's trial. They're saying that he's the one that murdered her. And then afterwards, his dad shows up at Grace's house. The dad's name is Alan. And says that his son didn't do it. So the book is Grace trying to find out what really happened with her daughter. There were parts that were really good. Alan and Grace, I felt, were really good characters. I guess it's because you kind of connected to them emotionally, but everyone else just seemed really flat. The twists that happened were kind of, why? Twist happened because it's thriller, but it just didn't seem, I don't want to say that it came out of nowhere, because I guess it works, but it just seemed ridiculous, maybe. I don't know. So, and I didn't like the writing style at all. I did not like it at all. It was very conversational, constantly. And there were so many parts that I felt like could have been edited. Like there was a whole paragraph about how she was grieving and she woke up and she still had a headache, so she took medicine and went back to sleep. And I'm like, why did we know she's grieving. Why did we need a paragraph thrown in there about that? So I thought that was, like, there's a lot of unnecessary talk.
Sounds like it.
And then my last one I actually finished yesterday. I finished listening to The Girls by Emma Cline. It was narrated by Katie McLean. This is I guess you could call it a fictional retelling of the Charles Manson murders, kind of. We follow Evie, who is, I think, 13 or 14, and it's over the course of the summer in 1969, and she sees these girls at a park one day, and she's really interested in them, and she keeps running into them, and then she goes back to their commune, I guess we could call it that, and there's a guy there who's Russell, who's supposed to be like Charles Manson.
Oh, okay.
Like, so it's not, like, exactly like it, but, like, there's some aspects that are similar
to it.
So it's kind of interesting. I gave it 3 out of 5. I'd probably give it 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was very well written. The vocabulary was great. I thought it was going to be more about the girls.
Oh, and
you know
it's
what I mean?
not.
Well, it's about them, but it's mostly about Evie. And I don't know. I wanted more, I guess. And there were parts, and I guess when you're reading the physical book, you would know this, but like it's broken up into 3 parts, and at the beginning of each part, it's present Evie, and then it goes back to past Evie.
Oh, okay.
And I think when if you were reading it in a physical book, it wouldn't be as confusing, but sometimes it was confusing listening to it.
Probably.
The narrator was great. I thought she had a good voice. Her male voices were awful, but her regular voice was really good, and her girl voices weren't that great either. Actually, her regular voice was just fine though. But that one was okay. I know it's gotten like lots of mixed reviews from lots of people, but it was very interesting.
Just sounds a little different.
Yes, but it was very, very interesting. So, Mom, are you reading anything?
I started listening. Well, I'm reading them to physical, and I'm listening to. It's by Kimberly Williams Paisley, who played.
Oh, in the
Bride on Father of the Bride.
Yeah.
And it's Where the Light Gets In, Losing My Mother Only to Find Her Again. And it's read by her. Mm-hmm. Her mother is suffering from a rare form of dementia.
Yes.
So this is, the book she talks about that. She talks about a lot of other things. But the highlight of it is the full story of Linda is her mother. illness, and it's called primary progressive aphasia from her early onset diagnosis at the age of 62 through the present day. Kim draws a candid picture of the way her family has reacted for better and worse, and how she, her father, and siblings have educated themselves, tried to let go of shame and secrecy, made mistakes, and found unexpected humor and grace in the midst of the suffering. It actually only came out in April, so I didn't know how long it was. But she talks.
I think you've talked about it on here before, maybe when you got it.
Maybe when I bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably did. This is probably going to be one I'm going to have to listen to in stages, because she had me at a part on the way to work yesterday that I was almost crying, and I thought, but I really, really like it, and it has been funny. She talks about getting the part for Father of the Bride. She talks about her parents, how they met, and how they started their lives, the places they've lived, and her siblings, and it's just going to be a good all-around story. It's just going to have the sadness of how the disease has, the toll it's taken on the family and her mother. So,
I mean, that's hard.
It is hard. It is hard, and it's a part of a lot of people's everyday lives. There's a lot of people that have dementia. There's different kinds of it, and then Alzheimer's. So are you reading on anything else?
Yes, I'm also reading on my Kindle Bird's Art Life: A Year of Observation by Kyo McClare. I'm assuming it's Kyo, Kyo. This is a memoir that came out January 3rd, I think. I'd hoped to have it done before then, but it didn't happen. It's good, though. It's interesting. She basically is feeling, I guess, maybe stuck. Maybe that's not the right word, but that's the word we're going to use. And so she decides to start bird watching, and she finds this person who takes her on bird watching so she can learn how to do that. And so it's about that. It's about her growing up. It's about her current life. It's about the art, because her parents, I believe, were both artists, if I remember correctly. And she draws and she writes. So I'd never heard of her before, but it's really well written. There's some lovely photographs and some lovely doodles that I assume she's done, since they're not credited to anyone else. It's good. It's different, but it's good. It's interesting.
I'm finding I've always been a lover of books and reading, but I'm finding as much as I love the fiction, I'm also loving the nonfiction about people, their lives, and things too.
I tend to prefer nonfiction that's about people than more so about things.
I like the places, though, sometimes. So, I'm reading another book. I think I've talked about it before. It's the Mary Higgins Clark, The Sleeping Beauty Killer. I have gotten a little further in it, but I'm still not done with it. So, are you reading on anything else?
Yes, I have one more that I started, and this one comes out January 24th.
Oh, you got are you doing it for a review for them? Oh, good for you.
It's called The Girl Before by J.P. Delaney, and I started it the other day, and I totally dig it. It's another thriller, and I'm not super far into it because I'm trying to finish that other book first, but every now and then I'm like, oh, I want to read a little bit of fiction, so I'll read a little bit of that one. It's told from two parts. There's Emma and there's Jane. Emma and her its part is in the past, but it's not like too far in the past. I'm not sure how far yet, but it can't be too far in the past. Her and her boyfriend, she was living at his place, and they had a break-in, so they were looking for a new place to stay because she was there during the break-in, and so she was very traumatic experience for her. So she's trying to find this new place, and then there'll be a chapter about them looking at this place, and then Jane, who I guess is in the present, is looking for a new place too, and it's the same place. So, like, I'm assuming Emma and her boyfriend Simon were the people who lived there before Jane lives there, and that's where The Girl Before comes from.
Oh, probably.
So, I don't want to tell you guys too much until I've finished reading it, but that's where I'm at right now. They're both filling out the application for this house. This house is crazy. It's, like, super technological. Like, you do everything from the app. The application to be approved for the house includes things like what would you bring into the house, and it has like all these rules, like, you know, you can't have certain kinds of furniture and all this other stuff. So it's the guy who the architect who made the house is of the minimalist lifestyle. So he only wants people who are also of the minimalist lifestyle, I guess, living in the house. Like I said, I read the synopsis because that's what made me want to get an advanced copy of the book so I could read it. But before I started reading it, I didn't read it again. I wanted to kind of go in kind of blind. Like, I remembered a little bit about it, but not a whole lot. So I've been trying not to read anything else about it so I can find out on my own, like, what's going on. So
interesting. Well, I have one more, and I love the cover of this book. It's Nicholas Sparks' new book, 2 by 2, and it's the dad dancing with the little girl dancing on her daddy's feet. And I'm not very far into it. I work with a girl that loves all things Nicholas Sparks. So she started it, and she said, how did you like, because at the beginning it's kind of been slow to getting into, and then she came into work the next day, and she said, I read to 10 o'clock, and I was a crying, sobbing, slobbery mess. So I haven't got that far yet, but it is, at 32, Russell Greene has it all. A stunning wife, a lovable 6-year-old daughter, a successful career as an advertising executive, and an expansive home in Charlotte. He's living the dream, and his marriage to the bewitching Vivian is the center of that. But underneath the shiny surface of this perfect existence, fault lines are beginning to appear, and no one is more surprised than Russ when he finds every aspect of the life he took for granted turned upside down. In a matter of months, he finds himself without a job or wife, caring for his young daughter while struggling to adapt to a new, baffling reality. Throwing himself into the wilderness of single parenting, Russ embarks on a journey at once terrifying and rewarding, one that will test his abilities and his emotional resources beyond anything you ever imagined. So, to me, it sounds good. I don't have a lot of time. I'm trying to knit and trying to read, trying to listen, and
you have a commute.
Most lunch hours I read. I usually eat early and take my lunch at 1 because I'm hungry before then. So I usually just eat while I'm working, and then I can read at lunch. But this week, classes start. Of course, I work at a college. Classes start Tuesday, and it has been a busy week. All week. One night I worked till 5:30, and one night
you worked till 5:30 yesterday.
I left at 5.
Oh, that's right. Because I called you at 5.
But I worked straight through and didn't even take lunch yesterday.
We both worked till 5 yesterday.
Yeah, 7:30 to 5. I was exhausted when I got home, but things will settle down this week. There was just some things that have to be taken care of in our office before classes start, and it's a short time span from the time fall classes end in December, and then we're out for that week, the holiday. And then we go back and we're thrown right in for it starting in the spring. So there's not a lot of time there to get everything done like there is between, even though we have summer classes, we still have a little more time between spring and fall starting. So it's just been a hectic week, but it'll settle back down this week. So more reading time.
Very good. I'm throwing this at you because I didn't tell you we were going to talk about it before our book talk this week. We had someone post in our thread, Avril. She says, do you read books to fit the season? For example, scary books for Halloween, Christmas-themed books at Christmas, with people on holidays, a beach book for the summer. If you do you ever read a book off-season? She says that she doesn't read for particular seasons, but she has a book on her TBR pile about the USS Jeanette and her polar voyage. And then she asked if we do read for seasons, are there any books set around Christmas and winter that we could recommend?
I don't normally read for seasons. I
don't either. And I've actually, aside from Halloween, I've never, reading a scary book at Halloween, I've never even thought about.
I neither. I did read now this year, but it's because I've read all of them. Karen Kingsbury does that series of the Baxter family. It's Christian, and it was a bukus of bunches, and that it's been, that's Mac. The cat just came in.
Yeah.
But she did a Christmas one this time.
Yeah,
the Baxter family Christmas.
That, yeah.
And I read it, but that's actually about the only time. Now, talk Hallmark movies. That's a different story.
I personally, like I said, around Halloween, every now and then I'm like, I want to read a scary book. I still rarely do. I just read what I want to read. Mm-hmm. I think you kind of alluded to this, we don't always have time to read, so like we're making time to read. So if I'm not into it, I don't really think about it. But I wanted to talk about it still, even though I don't, and I didn't know if you did.
No.
You don't. You accidentally did this past Christmas, but you don't purposely. But I wanted to bring that to you guys, especially since she asked for some winter recommendations. I know she posted this before Christmas, and I kept meaning for us to talk about it in December, and it just didn't happen. So I wanted to make sure we talked about it this time so we could get some winter recommendations from you. I thought, hey, you guys read too. That's half the reason why you watch us. So I thought maybe you guys would have some winter book recommendations.
And that might be something we might want to pick up and add too.
Yeah, and there's part of me that kind of digs the concept. I already have my books kind of semi-planned out for this year, but I'm thinking maybe next year, maybe I could plan more, like, okay, I'm going to read these in the winter, and these in spring, these in summer, these in, whatever.
I tend to read more of my feelings, maybe. Because sometimes you want a lighter, airier book than something, just a quick read that's a feel-good read. And then sometimes that sounds interesting. And it might be a little darker or deeper, and you might have to think about it more. But it
might be some people killing people.
Might be some people. Yeah, I read a lot of those. But I hadn't ever thought about doing it by the seasons.
Me either. And there's all these reading challenges, which we kind of talked a little bit about that last time when we talked about the Modern Mrs. Darcy reading challenge. And I've never thought about doing reading challenges either until a year or two ago. So, yeah, it's something I need to kind of think more about maybe. But again, I just kind of go with my gut. Like, I buy books because they sound interesting. And then when I want to read a book, I look at them, and whichever one stands out to me, that's the one I pick and read. I usually don't have a reason. Sometimes I'm just super excited about it, and I'm like, I have to read it right now. And then sometimes I want to read that eventually, and I just wait till the right time. So, because sometimes if you pick a book, you won't like it. But then if you'd read it like months later, or at a different time when you were more ready for that book, you might have liked it. So it's like I try to go like what you said with how I'm feeling. So
or time. My time limit.
So let us know. Do you guys read seasonally or holidays? Like, I think that's an interesting question, and I think that might be a different way to get some new book recommendations.
I think so. Yeah. So put it out there. Share it with us.
Yeah, put it in our thread for this episode. It'll be in the Ravelry group. It'll be stickied and at the top. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thanks for watching.